The window is open for cold and snow. And of course, before you get the snow, you got to get the cold. We're already getting the cold here on Wednesday, and that cold is going to be building across the Midwest and parts of the Northeast over the next 10 days. And with that, from some threats for snow. I want to give you some headlines here. This is what I'm thinking. Midwest snowstorm this weekend. We do have a snow map. I'll show you that here in a second. Then I'm telling you, I saw this last week. The potential's there for more snow. I could see this being a snowstorm. I could also see how it's a minor event, but certainly the snow potential is there from the Midwest to the Northeast Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And then the next storm will be for the Rockies and Northern Plains, let's say next weekend. Okay. Now, I want to get into this. Let's talk about the first ingredient you need, and that is the cold. These are the high temperatures, by the way, on Saturday. Here's your 32-degree line. So here, see, you're building the cold in the northern part of the country. This sets you up for the snowstorm Saturday night in the Midwest as the storm attacks the cold air from the south. Then, as we get into next Monday and Tuesday, watch, the cold starts spreading east a little bit here. There it is. Here's your 32-degree line in here. So here's the cold. You're building it now, not only in the Midwest, but toward parts of the Northeast. And then as we get into Tuesday, let's show you the high temperatures again. Notice where the 32-degree line is, right along the I-95 corridor. But see, you still have the cold built in here. Now, let's do storm number one. I talked about this. I want to show you where it is on the map right now, and there it is. Let me put this on full so you can get a sense of where we are. So this is the weekend storm. As we talked about, it's coming into the Northwest. We'll talk more about the Tuesday, Wednesday storm. That energy right now is over the Aleutian Islands here. So again, let's take it one by one. I do think the modeling is pretty good now with this storm coming up over the weekend. Not that everything is been figured out, but I think the general track is there. And here it is. Let me take you forward here going into the weekend. So here's the storm coming into the Northwest tomorrow. So it comes on the North American continent tomorrow. There it is. Now that's going to come south. You're going to have another piece of energy coming on through. Let me take you into Friday. Here comes that southern piece. There it is. Let me stop it Saturday morning. Now, for this storm to occur, this southern piece of energy has to get out ahead of this northern trough. If it doesn't, then you know what happens? It's just the frontal boundary. And all of the precipitation is on the northern side. And as it warms up, it would mostly be rain. But as you take a look at this, you can clearly see by Saturday afternoon, see it's out ahead of it. Here's your northern piece. Here's your southern piece. It's out ahead of this, so you're going to get a storm to form, and that's going to move to the northeast. I want to show you, by looking at just the upper air map, to me, the heaviest snow, and what do I mean by that, 6 inches more, is going to be in here. I think it's Des Moines. I think it's toward maybe Rochester, Minnesota, but certainly toward Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay, up in here. I feel pretty confident that the 6-inch line is north of Chicago. I believe that. Let me show you the surface map as well with this as we play this out. And again, let's go into Saturday. See, here comes the storm. And this is what I'm not impressed for Chicago. I think the storm is too far to it's too close to you. I think for a snow in Chicago, you need the storm track in here. This is coming in here. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to get snow in Chicago. I think you will. But I want to show you a snow map, and there was a big discussion about this morning, and I just talked with the crystal ball meteorologist Joe Lumberg, and he has the same concern I have. Let me show you the snowfall map. This is it right here. Let me put this on full so you can see it. So right now we have Chicago at 4 to 8 inches. I like the 4 more than the 8. I think this is going to end up being 3 to 4 inches in Chicago. I think this 6 line is going to come up here. I really do. This does not look to be the right track for Chicago. Everything else is fine, but I think that 6-inch line is going to be north of Detroit, and the 3-inch line comes something like this, right? So that's my concern, that this is the 6 plus, this is the 3 to 6, and then 1 to 3. It may be something like in here. We might be a little too far south with this. That's the concern I have. But this is going to be a storm that's going to cause travel delays, no doubt about it, across the Midwest here as we head into Saturday. Now, let me get back to next week. I'm getting more and more impressed with next week. And just to review, that's this right here, this piece of energy. This is going to come around the bend. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to play the same game as we're playing with this storm. That is, can the southern piece of energy get out ahead of the northern trough to form a storm, or is it just a front? Because if it doesn't get out ahead of it, you just get a frontal boundary and all the precipitation is in the warm air, not in the cold, and then you don't get any snow. So that's a possibility. Do I think it's the most likely scenario? I do not. Here's the piece of energy right here. This is the storm. This is the northern piece of the energy. This has to get out ahead of this. This is Monday. Let's go to Tuesday. There it is. Now, this is the European. It is barely out ahead of it. Barely. See how it kind of goes along and then it weakens. There would be some snow, but it wouldn't be a lot. I want to show you the UK map. This is the model of choice if you want snow. Look at this. This is Tuesday morning. You see this southern piece? It's all the way down here. It's a lot stronger than the European, which is this. See, European, UK Met. European, UK Met. All right. So the window is still open for this storm, how this is going to work. I want to show you where I think there's a snow threat here on Tuesday. This is it. I'm sorry for those along the I-95 wanting snow. This is not your storm. I don't believe it, and I think the models could be too far east. Here is your snow threat. That's it. As we get into Tuesday and Wednesday and next week, and for some, it'll be the first snow of the season. Get ready for it. It's coming, and that's the feed.